Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. With the second wave of the pandemic, COVID-19, rhinoorbital mucormycosis is currently in the headlines. But there can be some other causes of inflamed orbit that need to be differentiated. So what can be the differential diagnosis and how to cool down a hot orbit? Today's our topic, our discussion is on that only. My co-speakers are Dr. Joita Dash, Dr. Anirban Bhaduri, and Dr. Chandana Chakraborty. So do not consider all hot orbits as cellulitis or as thyroid or orbital disease. It can be the lesions like cystosarcosis or malignancy, which if not detected or treated on time can not only threaten the vision, can also threaten the life. So first I'll take up with the approach to a patient with hot orbit. Now, what is an hot orbit? It is an inflamed orbit. It's a painful, red, tight orbit. Causes can be inflammatory, infective, or malignancy. The infective causes are due to bacteria, fungus, virus, and parasite. The inflammatory causes are active thyroid eye disease, idiopathic orbital tumors. And malignancies can be both in primarily occurring in the orbit or can be a metastatic from a distant site. Now, how to approach such a patient? First of all, you have to take a thorough history, take a thorough clinical examination, send the patients for appropriate diagnostic tests. Imaging comes the first, and then the other ancillary tests like hematology, histopathology, microbiology, molecular diagnosis. In the history, we have to consider the age of the patient. Suppose a middle-aged man suddenly comes with a painful, red, swollen, proptosed eye for a period of about 3 to 6 months. Then we can have some differentials in our mind. It may not be the infective case, it may be something else. Yes, in the history, the onset and duration are also important. Systemic symptoms like pain, swelling of the eyes, redness, double vision, decreased vision, and is in this background of COVID pandemic, nasal discharge, bleeding from nose, and altered sensorium. All these are very important. History of systemic illnesses include the history of fever, history of thyroid disorder, some metabolic diseases like diabetes mellitus, human immunodeficiency virus, COVID infection, steroid therapy, iron overload, breast, abdominal, genitourinary problems, and hematological malignancies, etc. Now, clinically, you have to evaluate the patient of a proptosed eye, painful ophthalmoplegia, chemosis, congestion, discoloration of the overlying skin, poikilothermia, vision loss, increased resistance to retropulsion, palpable orbital lump. Now, case-wise, I'd like to show you how to approach such a case. This is a small child presented with swollen erythematous eyelid with minimal proptosis. It is very difficult to separate the eyelids, but yes, to some extent, it gives us a clue that it can be of infective etiology, but it is very sudden onset, 1 or 2 days. This is a patient, middle-aged female patient who presented with severe proptosis, inflamed eyelids, swollen, and chemosis, and as well conjunctival prolapse we can see. Now, by seeing the patient, we have something in our mind that yes, it can be a case of malignancy, or it can be a case of orbital cellulitis, which has led to the development of an orbital lump. Now, this is another patient. Here, the eye is red, mainly inferiorly. The lids are tight. There is proptosis, and a resistance to retropulsion is present. Interestingly, the swelling is more in the inferiorly, but the inferior eyelid is not tender or red, but it is definitely swollen. This is a small child who had an S-shaped ptosis. Surprisingly, the congestion was limited to lateral part. There was esodiviation, the mild proptosis, And on palpation, there was a tender lump in the superolateral orbit. It came out to be a case of acute dacroadenitis in a small child. Now we send for some blood tests, like we know to complete hemogram, peripheral blood smear, coagulation profiles, inflammatory markers like ESR, CRP, thyroid profile, and blood glucose profile. Imaging, the CT scan being the investigation of choice, the role of MRI is not well established. It detects optic neuritis, status of the orbital apex, intracranial extension of the infections, like infections spreading to the brain in cases of rhinoorbital mucormycosis, or in cases where we can suspect cavernous sinus thrombosis, or we are suspecting meningitis or brain abscess. MRI is better than CT only in those cases. Otherwise, CT scan is the investigation of choice. Now, this is how the imaging helps us. If you remember the first case, it was a small child with this inflamed eyelid. We did a CT scan orbit, the axial plates showing diffuse soft tissue thickening and areas of enhancement anterior to the orbital septum. So the orbital shadow was almost clear. All the lesions was confined in the preseptal place. And both the clinical and these radiological features were supportive of the presence of a preseptal cellulitis. Now, this is the sagittal plate of the patient. Now, in this case, this middle-aged lady, though we are thinking of some malignancy, but after ordering this imaging, we had this extracorneal soft tissue mass with fat stranding accompanied by sinusitis. Now, this is a case of orbital cellulitis. Now, this extracorneal mass, it can be presented in intracorneal space also. In other cases of orbital cellulitis, we can have associated edema of the extraocular muscles. And in cases of the condition becomes more serious, there can be development of intraorbital abscess or subperiosteal abscess. Now, this patient was a middle-aged patient, had hypotropic proptosed eye with ptotic lid, and patient had a fever, non-remitting fever. On advising the imaging, there was hypo or isodensity, juxtaosseous lesion in the superior orbit, and there was some amount of sinusitis also. This is the lesion. Now, here we have a peripheral enhancement. Now, this was a case of superior subperiosteal abscess. Now, this child is a new here. Now, here is a tightly swollen, inflamed eye. The eyelids are also red, but the sagittal section of the CT scan orbit showed a cystic lesion with a central hyperdense area in the superior rectus LPS complex. So it was a scolex, and it was a case of myocystic sarcosis. Now, considering this case, the sagittal section of the T2 weighted images of the MRI orbit, this showed some heterogeneous increased intensity in the inferior orbit involving the inferior rectus muscle. Now, this case required a tissue diagnosis, and on doing a histopathology, we got it to be a case of lymphoma. Now, this is another interesting case, and this case is very relevant in the current scenario. These are the axial cuts of CT scan and MRI orbit. This is a patient's picture having the clinical pictures of orbital cellulitis, where we show the right orbital cellulitis with invasion of the paranasal sinuses. Here and here, this eye was PL negative. So after tissue diagnosis, we obtained the tissue diagnosis as it was a case of orbital fungal infection. So examination of the other system is very important. In the current scenario, ENT examination is important because in ENT examination in children as well as in adults, in children usually less than 9 years of age, we get the infections of most commonly bacterial single common infection, whereas in case of adult, we get a mixed infections if it is a bacterial because of the properly developed sinus. Now, the treatment varies accordingly. The ENT examination is important in the current scenario, the nasal endoscopy, and especially the tissue biopsy in suspected cases. CNS evaluation and Glasgow Coma Scale scoring is important for assessing the spread of the infection to the central nervous system or spread of malignancy or involvement of the cavernous sinus or brain, etc. The abdominal examination can rule out presence of any other lump in the abdomen. So examination of the other systems carry very important role. Now, how the tissue diagnosis helps us? Now, tissue diagnosis can be done endoscopically or directly. It can be navigation guided as well. Endoscopy guided nasal or sinus biopsy, orbital biopsy, and in selective cases of biopsy from the extraocular muscle. Yes, after obtaining the tissue, we send for appropriate staining, and in special situation, polymerase chain reaction. A group of doctors consisting of hematologists, pathologists, microbiologists, and the molecular biologists will help us to give a proper diagnosis. This is a case of orbital tumor which presented as an initial manifestation of acute myeloid leukemia as a granulocytic sarcoma. This was a case report, and tissue diagnosis is important because of all these things. Thank you very much.